Let's talk about layouts. But before we look at how layout changes work in Editor 2.0, let's start by defining what layout means in web development. The term layout refers to how elements are arranged on your site. It is what dictates how elements, such as text, images, and even whole columns, are laid out within a container. Now, you may be wondering what I mean by a container. In a few words, a container can be any area in the editor where you place widgets. We will discuss containers in more detail later in the course. But for the sake of this lesson, think of any column you see in the editor as a container. With Editor 2.0, we can adjust the layout of each breakpoint independently, ensuring that changes made to one breakpoint do not affect the others. In this video, I will demonstrate how to adjust your site's layout at different breakpoints by rearranging columns. As a reminder, edits made from the main breakpoint will cascade down to the other two breakpoints. This means that any change made to the layout from the desktop version of the site will get inherited by tablet and mobile. In Editor 2.0, there are various ways to change your site's layout. The first way I'll show you is by rearranging the order of your columns. By clicking on any column, a floating bar appears, allowing you to move entire columns from one position to another. Let's look at an example. From the main breakpoint, I'll move the column with text to the middle. Since edits made to the main breakpoint reflect in other breakpoints, then we should expect to see these changes when I switch over to the tablet and mobile versions. Let's go back to the main breakpoint and move the text column back to its original place. Should we expect this change to apply in tablet as well? As you can see, the last change we made from the main breakpoint also affected the tablet version. But what if I wanted to keep the text in the middle on the tablet breakpoint but not the desktop version? To do so, I need to make this layout change from the tablet breakpoint. When I switch back over to the main breakpoint, the change we just made should not affect it. And what about the mobile breakpoint? Should the layout change we just made in the tablet breakpoint also reflect on mobile? The answer is no. We see that the column with text remains at the top and has not shifted. So, what can we take away from this? This shows us that when you rearrange columns on a specific breakpoint, in our example on tablet, the change only applies to that breakpoint and not the others. In other words, any layout changes made here will override the settings initially inherited from the main breakpoint. Now, since we just moved the column with text to the middle on the tablet breakpoint, do you think any future changes to the layout of this column in the main breakpoint will impact the tablet version? Let's take a look. If I were to move this same column with text all the way to the end of the section this time, then when I visit the tablet breakpoint, the text remains in the middle instead of shifting to the right. But didn't we say that layout changes, like moving a column that got applied at the main breakpoint, would trickle down to the others? Well, that only happens if you haven't already modified the specific breakpoint. Any new changes made to the column's position from the main breakpoint will be ignored on that modified breakpoint. To recap, edits made to the main breakpoint get passed down to the tablet and mobile breakpoints. Moving a column on either the tablet or mobile breakpoints won't affect each other or appear on the main breakpoint. After you've rearranged columns at a specific breakpoint, any subsequent reordering of that same column made from the main breakpoint will be disregarded.